Good morning, guys. Hope you're having an amazing day. It is Pink here. Looks like it's a very rainy day outside today here in Singapore, but we're gonna go to a neighborhood called Kampong Glam, which is in the central part of Singapore. It's known for amazing Malay food, so we're gonna try out some of the local dishes here, the classic Malay dishes in Singapore, and I'm just gonna show you around. We're gonna walk around. We're gonna hopefully go to some places where Anthony Bourdain has been to, and we're just gonna have an amazing time today. Let's go eat.
Ini paru ya, ini hati. Paru.
Get to Kampong Glam, the station you want to get off at is Bugis, which is on the Green Line. It's roughly in the central area, but that's the station you want to get off at. We've just gotten out of the station, but now you just need to take about a 5-minute walk, and that will take you to the famous Kampong Glam. We've arrived to Kampong Glam, as you can probably see, but it is raining hard. So we're just gonna stay here for a little bit. I'm gonna try and wait for the rain to slow down or go away. It even looks like it's getting better already. And then after that, we're gonna go to get some food, but this weather is not cooperating today. We'll wait for that to get better. So this road right here with all this painting is called Haji Lane. Now it has a really interesting history because in the past, Haji Lane would be the final sort of docking point where people would go before they would go on their Hajj to Mecca. So this is a very important place to Muslims and Malays alike. But today it's become this huge like artistic street area, very popular with tourists, but this is definitely a spot that you can come and visit when you're here in Kampong Glam. Alright guys, I'm so excited. We've come to the first stop for our lunch today. This is a restaurant called Pariaman. It's been open since 1948. So if you do the math, that's about like 70 plus years. And to put it in context, Singapore was only established in 1965. So this restaurant right here is older than the country itself. So if it's been this old, it's gotta be really good. We've got a couple dishes here. We've got most famously their Beef Rendang, which, I mean, just looking at it, you can just break that apart so easily. And then of course you've got their squid, or locally known here as sotong. But this looks exceptional. The total price of this was $11.02, which is very affordable here in Singapore. But I can't wait to dive in. I mean, just looking at the beef, you can just tell it's melting apart. Like you don't need to chew this, but let's go ahead and give this a try with some of the rice. What I love about their beef rendang is that it has a very strong coconut flavor, but it's also a bit salty, a bit spicy, and the texture, it's not like a very hard stringiness, it just melts. Like, you do not need to bite into that. I mean, you can just look at it now and you can tell You don't need to bite into that. It just melts on the spot when it hits your mouth. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put some of the chili on top of the beef rendang and then try that out. Yeah, that beef is just exceptional. I mean, they've cooked it for such a long time, it just breaks down on its own. So by the time it gets to your plate, it's already been cooking and simmering for such a long time. It just turns into almost like a paste rather than actual beef itself. The next thing we've got to try is, of course, their squid or sotong here. It's like a curry squid, but I'm not sure how the taste profile will be like, so let's try this out. This is probably some of the best squid I've ever had. What I love about the squid is that it's not very chewy. You know, you sometimes get calamari that's really, really tough and it's really hard to bite into. This squid is perfect the way it is. It's cooked, it's soft, and the flavor, it has that coconut flavor, but I'm getting a bit of that lemongrass. Maybe it's galangal. Being the meatitarian I am, I didn't get many vegetables, but I feel like it's worth giving it a shot at this restaurant because if it's been around for such a long time, they've got to be doing something right with the vegetables. Let's try it out. What I love about the vegetables is that they're actually flavorful. You can tell that they put chilies and they've cooked the lettuce down at such a rate where the lettuce basically melts and it doesn't really have any texture anymore. But it's watered down so much, you don't get that crispiness, but it's like, it's more just smoothness. And of course it's accompanied with like lemongrass, chilies, onions. I mean, you can even see right here, there's just a piece of that lemongrass that's cut inside to the entire vegetable dish. But this plate for $11, getting beautifully melted beef, squid, an entire squid, and this the whole plate is really phenomenal, really great price. The next stop in our food tour today is a place known as Zam Zam. It is, without a doubt, one of the most famous murtabak restaurants in all of Singapore. Now, what is murtabak? Murtabak is like a crispy layer of like flour mixed in with tons of meat and many different layers inside. It's one of the most classic Malay dishes here in Singapore, but I'm so excited because this place is supposed to have the best murtabak in the whole island. First off, we got to start off with a drink. This is teh tarik, which literally translates to cold tea. Now the way they make it is that they make the tea really long and then they try to spread it out as long as possible, so which is why it's called a cold tea. They pull it up. Let's try this out. What I love about it is that it has that milky flavor and it's got that strong tea herbal flavor. Perfect mix. And you can see there are some bubbles on the top because of how frothy it is when they pull it up, but delicious, one of my favorite Malay drinks here. But of course we've got to go to the main star, the main attraction of this place. This right here is the murtabak. So when it comes out, it's just on a plate and it's split into 10 different pieces, but it also comes with this little side dish of curry gravy. Now I'm just gonna try the murtabak on its own first. It's so crispy. I mean, if you just use your fork and you just move it along, you can hear the crunch. I mean, can you just hear that already? Anyways, let's go ahead and try this out. That might just be one of the best bites we're gonna have in this video. The outside of the skin, it's so crispy. It's so it's almost like a chip. It's almost like a potato chip. That's how crispy it is. And then the next layer you bite in, it's egg. It's just a bunch of eggs which they were making earlier, splat onto the thing. And then inside you've got layers and layers of meat. Layers of meat dough, and egg sandwiched in between. This is a beautiful combination. It's so delicate. The balance between the crispiness of the skin and the dough, and then the chicken, which is so soft, and it's so saucy on the inside. So you have that dry, crispy exterior, but wet, saucy chicken on the inside. I'm going to get some of the curry sauce and dip it inside, and then try it out when it's all drenched in that curry sauce. Let's go for it. I would say that with or without the curry, it's still amazing because you've got that wet, that sort of saucy texture inside with the chicken being stewed, I guess, but really, really delicious. The curry sauce itself is relatively flavorful, but I honestly don't think you need it. If you want to, that's definitely up to you. But this is about $6 for the entire murtabak, which I think is definitely worth it. It's literally jam-packed. And when you look at the cross-section, you can just see all the layers filled. Meat dough, and egg sandwich in between. One of the best things I think you can ever find here in Singapore, and one of the most classic local dishes. If you want to try murtabak, this is the place to go. This is world famous, and they only have one outlet, which is at Kampong Glam. They never decided to franchise it. So if you want to get the best murtabak on the island, this is the place to go. I realized as I was leaving the restaurant that restaurant had been open since 1908, which makes it currently the oldest restaurant I've been to in this video. I'm not sure if the next stop is going to be older, but let's go check it out. Our next stop for the day is at this place called H.J. Maimuna House. Now, I didn't really know about this place until I realized that, well, A, this is one of the most famous Indonesian Malay restaurants here in Singapore, but B, Anthony Bourdain came here in his TV show called A Chef's Tour, and he came to this place, tried out some of the food, declared it was delicious, so I realized I have to come here. I got a couple simple things. I got Beef Rendang, which is what we had earlier at the other place, a chicken leg, and of course some of their classic desserts or kuehs. But first off, I just gotta go in for that rendang. That rendang is so, once again, so soft, so broken down, and you can just smell the spices, the lemongrass, the chili. It just looks absolutely delicious. I mean, as you can see, it's all like broken down already. Let's go ahead and give this a try. I have to say, compared to the rendang we had earlier, this one is a bit drier. Not that the beef is dry, but the sauce is like more like a drier sort of sauce, not as wet, not as saucy. Now that may be because it's been sitting out here as I've been shooting the food this whole time, but it's definitely not as saucy, as wet as the other one. But the beef is still amazing. It's still really soft, really tender on the inside. It's kind of like when you compare barbecues and you have different types of barbecues. Some are like dry rub, some are really saucy. This one is kind of like a drier version, but still nonetheless really, really delicious. I mean, you can just tell each strand just breaking apart without you even really trying to put in any effort at all. Next up, I'm gonna go for the chicken. It is a very meaty chicken, but let's go ahead and bite it and see how it is. It's not exactly the juiciest chicken, but you can tell that the curry sauce has penetrated a very thick layer of it. And you can tell the entire chicken is yellow on the outside because of all the curry sauce it's been just sitting in and bathing in. But you can see the yellow sauce has just covered all the rice here, and I don't know, it's a really, really good chicken. It's not the juiciest chicken I've had. Definitely the chicken at the earlier place, the Murtabak place, was much better, but still a really, really good piece of chicken. I almost feel like I'm back in Indonesia. I can smell all the spices, the lemongrass. It's just really, really delicious. It's so fragrant. Every single dish here is just so fragrant. And don't forget, we got a little bit of sambal, or the chili. I'm just gonna put it over the rice, put some rendang on it. Let's try it out with the chili sauce. That is the spiciest thing I've had all day. That chili sauce really brings in the heat. I mean, that is a new level of spiciness today. It's not unmanageable, it just causes a little bit more pain, and as we all know, pain equals pleasure, and I am more than happy to endure this type of pain. Now, other than their famous rendang and their hot dishes here, what they're really famous for are their desserts. So we're gonna first go with one. This one is called pisang goreng. It's also known as a fried banana. Now, you can just see from looking at it how crispy it is. You can see all the little wrinkles, all the little textures of it just frying in that oil. This batch looks delicious. So I'm just going to give this a try. Oh my god, it is really, really hot. I mean, just touching it, it's so crispy. The texture is just so crispy, so we're gonna give this a try. That might just be the best fried banana I have ever had. I mean, each bit of the crispies, it's just so crispy. It literally just breaks apart. It's like a cracker almost. I mean, if you thought the murtabak we had earlier was crispy, this is a whole new level of crispiness. I mean, it is just like, it's almost like cereal level of crispy. I wouldn't be surprised if they coated this with cereal, but it is just so crispy inside. The banana is nice and gooey, nice and moist. That is just one of the best fried bananas I've ever had. Probably the best, even better than the ones I've had when I've been in Indonesia. That's how good this fried banana is. Definitely do not miss that. I was reading that the fried bananas here are amazing, and they definitely live up to the hype. In addition to the fried bananas, one of the most famous things they have here is their kuehs, which are these little like colorful coconutty desserts usually. And they're like little cakes. This one is a very colorful one. They all have names, but I don't remember any of the names, so we're just gonna go and have fun. They have a wide array of kuehs inside, but this is one I got. Let's try it out. Usually when you get kuehs in Singapore, you can tell that they're not really homemade, that they're manufactured, that they're at malls and stuff. So it's got like more of like a chemically taste. This is homemade, this is original. You can sort of taste it. I mean, even the texture, the flavor, it feels very homey. It feels like, you know, an Indonesian family came together and created these for a dinner together. This is just such a homey feeling I get. It almost feels like I'm back in Indonesia. Next kueh we've got is like it's got a white layer and then it's got a brown layer. I have no clue what the flavor is supposed to be like. I'm guessing the white is coconut and the brown is maybe like shredded coconut cooked in gula melaka sauce. I may be completely wrong. Let's try this out. Definitely not what I expected. I don't know what I'm really tasting. It doesn't taste like coconut, that's for sure. But it's got a little bit of like a sourness to it. I don't know where it's coming from, but this is a very interesting kueh. Keep a lookout for this one. This looks interesting. Now finally, there's this triangular piece with coconut shreds all over it. The lady just told me, she gave me a little bottle of syrup and said, put as much syrup as you want. So of course I doused it in syrup. But I am not sure what this one is either. You can tell it's brown, it's covered in little coconut shreds, but as to what's inside, I have no clue. So let's go ahead and try this out. Oh, that is totally not what I was expecting. Okay, the inside is definitely rice. I mean, looking at more closely at it, I can tell it's rice inside, but the sauce, I thought it was like a sweet syrup. It's like syrup plus soy sauce. It's got a little bit of like a salty kick in. I'm guessing the saltiness comes from like the salted gula melaka, but very interesting taste. Completely not what I was expecting. These squids and these desserts here are completely throwing me off. Like, I would expect them to taste like this, and then they taste like something completely different. I mean, I would not expect this to be salty at all, but it is salty, so definitely come and try it out. I'm pretty sure it's like coconut salted gula melaka sauce. I think this place is one of the most surprising and good places. Surprising because I would think something would taste like this, but it's completely not what I expected. And that's a good thing because the ultimate end result was delicious. Just to give you an idea of how popular this place is, when I arrived it was around 2 in the afternoon, which is well after the lunch rush hour, and there was still a line out the door, and I had to wait about half an hour to get my food. So if that gives you any idea of how popular this place is, it's Michelin rated. It won the Bib Gourmand in 2016. Anthony Bourdain visited it. I mean, this restaurant hits all the criteria to come and visit. Definitely a place you have to come and try. Definitely try their quiz. I recommend them all. Their fried bananas, literally some of the best I've ever had. And of course the beef rendang. So soft, but just had a little dry flavor to it, which I think adds a new dimension to the rendang here. We're gonna go and see if we can get a little bit more food somewhere else. Let's go. Alright, last stop we have today. It's a little shop called the Rich and Good Cake Shop. It serves supposedly some of the best Swiss cake rolls in Singapore. This flavor I got here is kaya. They have tons of flavors, but what I heard the most famous and the best ones are kaya and durian. And I love kaya, so that's why I got kaya. If you didn't know, kaya is like a coconut jam, so one of my favorites. Look at how long this Swiss roll is. It's like, it's huge. Oh man. I'm gonna give this Swiss roll a try. It looks so good. And it's so big. Look at how big this is. My god, like this is my face. Look at how huge that is. Let's try this out. Oh. Look, I don't want to say that's the best thing I've had all day, but it's pretty close to it. Like, you know how when you get Swiss rolls, usually they have like cream in the middle? This one is literally pure kaya. It's green kaya on the inside. Oh, that might just be one of my favorite newfound desserts here in Singapore. The whole thing, which is like however long it was $10, which I think is definitely worth it. It's so long that I'm afraid if I hold one part of it, the whole thing will just fall apart. So I'm just carrying it like little cake baby. Oh, little baby. So I'm gonna end this video by talking about Kampong Glam in general. This part of Singapore is like a Malay heritage area. Unfortunately, the heritage area is closed at the moment because all museums and libraries are closed here in Singapore. But it has easily some of the best food here in Singapore, and I have no doubt that today, that's a fly, but today we have tried some of the best. I mean, we went to a place that Anthony Bourdain's been to, places that have been open for literally over 100 years. I mean, the food here is exceptional. If you want true, authentic Malay and Indonesian food, I don't think there's a better place where you can get such a high concentration of really good Malay food. Beef Rendang, one of my favorite dishes here. I mean, it just brought it to a whole new level today. And the Murtabak, oh, I don't think I can, I think I'm gonna be dreaming about that tonight because that was so crispy and the chicken inside was just so juicy. It started off as a very sad day with it raining all the time, but with this as an end and a beautiful weather, this is the best way to end any day of eating. Anyways, that's all I have for you guys in this video. Make sure to like and subscribe for more food and travel videos in the future. I'll see you guys later. Bye guys.